It's a what I thought.
Y'all remember y'all number? Okay. Make sure you tell someone that you could use for wrong. That was the first one.
Y'all can sit anywhere in the jury box.
Okay.
Somebody's
So if that's the way you go. I'm not trying to tell you what to do.
okay. You may be seated. Okay, y'all can be seated. Okay, Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is now in session. The court is in session in cause number 23 CCCR 2311. Case of style the state of Texas versus Roderick Lanier Tillman Jr. Let the record reflect that Mr. Tillman is present in court with his attorney John Macy. Let the record also reflect that the state is also present with Assistant Prosecutor Attorney Haley Simmons and Mr. Samuel Masradian. Let the record also reflect that the jury is now present and seated in the courtroom. State, are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, are you ready?
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Okay. At this time, Ms. Simmons, would you like to read the information? And Mr. Tillman, would you please stand up? Okay, you may go forward.
In the name and by authority of the state of Texas, comes now the undersigned Assistant Criminal District Attorney of Jefferson County, Texas, on behalf of the state of Texas, and presents in and to the County Court at Law of Jefferson County, Texas, that in Jefferson County, Texas, Roderick Lanier Tillman Jr., hereafter styled the defendant, heretofore on or about September 16, 2023, did then and there intentionally prevent or obstruct Logan Ishii, a person the defendant knew to be a peace officer, from effecting the arrest of the defendant by using force against said peace officer, to wit, by struggling with the arresting officer against the peace and dignity of the state.
And Mr. Tillman, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
Okay, you may take your seat. Ms. Simmons, would you like to make an opening statement?
Yes, briefly, Your Honor.
Okay,
May I
yes, you may go forward.
place something on the screen real quick, Your Honor?
Okay.
Good afternoon. All right, first and foremost, thank you all for coming back here today. I know each and every one of you did not raise your hand for wanting to be here. But the good news is both myself and Mr. Macy do anticipate this being a very quick trial. So with opening statements, I'm not here to argue with you or present all the evidence. I'm here to tell you what I anticipate the evidence is going to show you. So if you look to the screen, we talked a lot about our little elemental checklist. This is yours. I want you to follow and keep in your back pocket throughout the entirety of this trial. So this is the burden you must hold me to. With that being said, follow along, pay attention to all the evidence, check that list. So providing that Today, the state's gonna call Officer Logan Issue with the Belmont Police Department. And here's what I anticipate he's gonna tell him. That on September 16th, 2023, Officer Issue went to the park on Calder. He wasn't responding to any type of call. He was simply there just doing a check on rounds in the parking lot. At that point, he was approached by an individual who specified that he had wanted somebody to leave the premises. That person was then identified as Robert Tillman, the defendant. Officer Ishii then approached the defendant, and from there he had asked him to leave on multiple occasions. At which point, he did not. It was at that time that Officer Logan Ishii, wearing his clearly distinct marked uniform, establishing that he was in fact a police officer with Belmont Police Department, went to effect the arrest of Mr. Tillman, who struggled with him throughout the entirety of it. I anticipate you hearing Officer Ishii come to the stand and tell you not only did he push him away, but he pulled away. He intentionally prevented and obstructed. And with that being said, that's all the evidence I anticipate to show you. With that being said, also, we have the body worn camera, which I will seek to introduce as an exhibit. And you being the deciders of the facts in this case, you'll be able to see that determination for yourself as well. I look forward to presenting this case to you, and thank you.
Okay. Ms. Basie, would you like to make an opening statement, or would you like to reserve it?
I'll go ahead and make a new statement, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thanks for coming back. What I expect the evidence to show you is that, there was the officers showed up at a bar, restaurant / whatever it was. A very crowded bar, restaurant. So crowded that there was multiple people out in the parking lot, which is why they went over there in the first place. And all of a sudden, you're gonna see, and you're gonna see the body cam video, and you can see how crowded it was. And somebody pointed to Mr. Tillman. And he saw that, so he went over there to talk to the officer. And the officer immediately told him, "You gotta leave." Okay. And he was, Mr. Tillman, so the evidence is gonna show that, Mr. Tillman was trying to explain to him what was happening. But he didn't listen to him. He just told him to leave for about 5 seconds, maybe 10. You see it on the video, very fast. And next thing you know, the officer runs down and grabs him. And it surprised him. And he, then the next thing you know, there was some type of struggle. They characterize the struggle as resisting arrest. And I would submit to you that it's not. But the evidence is also going to show what happened, why there was some issue as to whether or not Mr. Tillman had to leave. I mean, because the officer showed up out of the blue and said, "Leave." If the officer would have given him, and you'll hear why Mr. Tillman was trying to explain to the officer, but the officer didn't give him a chance to. But why it was that Mr. Tillman wasn't doing anything wrong, and the officer doesn't just get to. You'll see why he was arrested. And I think once you see everything together, you'll come to the conclusion that the officer was arresting him for something that for something that he didn't do anything wrong with. And then when Mr. Tillman tried to protect himself, in that brief 5 or 10 seconds that happened before he was in handcuffs, that didn't rise to the level of resisting arrest. Anyway, so I would assert, pay attention to the surroundings, the background of the video, so you can see all that. So it'll make sense to you when you hear Mr. Tillman's side of the story. Thank you.
Okay. State, would you like to call your first witness?
Yes, Your Honor. State calls Logan Ishii.
Logan Ishii?
Yes, Your Honor.
Officer Ishii, would you please come forward?
Sir.
Okay, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Ishii, you may put your hand down and you could take a seat in that chair witness stand. You could adjust the mic. Miss, could you get Miss Mosby to fix the mic? I think there's a little thing in the back. It goes in the back of it. That's it. No. That cord right there, it goes in the back. Yeah, right back there. Okay,
Make way for it.
yes.
Can you go ahead and state your name for the record for me?
Logan Ishii.
Okay, and Officer Issue, where do you work?
I work for the Ball Police Department,
Okay, how long have you been with them?
approximately 5 years.
Can you tell me some of your job duties?
I'm a patrol officer assigned to midnight shifts, that's first watch, so I work pretty much all hours with the sun's down. I patrol the streets of Beaumont, enforce local laws, traffic stops, respond to calls for service, check businesses, different things like that.
And you're a certified police officer?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell the jury about your training experience as police officer?
So I went through the police academy here at LIT, back in 2021, is when I started. And then that is a 6-month process. And then once I get out of that, you go through another 6-month FTO process. And then from there, that's the extent of your on-the-job training. And then you hit the streets on your own. And then we have a large amount of continuing education that the state requires us to do through TCOL and things like that.
Were you working with Beaumont Police Department on September 16th, 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
And on that night, were you in the parking lot? I think it's called a Park One Calder.
The Park on Call is.
Okay, were you?
Yes.
Or dispatched out there?
No, ma'am.
Okay, what were you doing there?
I was checking the parking lot.
Is that just for safety?
Yes, that was about a week after we had just had a homicide in the parking lot. It was a hot spot for criminal activity, so we were trying to check those things.
Okay, well, were you ever approached by somebody, a security officer, telling you that they were trying to get somebody to leave the establishment?
I was.
Did you ever make contact with that individual?
I did.
Okay, and what was his name?
The owner of the bar was DeAndre Moore.
What was the name of the individual that they were asking?
Oh, Roger Tillman.
Okay, do you see him in the courtroom today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you point to him and identify him by an article of clothing?
He's sitting there wearing the plaid shirt.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witness has identified the
The
defendant.
record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. And just to be clear, whenever you made contact with the defendant, Mr. Roderick Tillman, did you ask him to leave?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he comply?
No, ma'am.
How many times did you ask him?
I couldn't say for sure. At least 3 or 4 probably.
So you're wearing a uniform right now with Beaumont Police Department.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you wearing a uniform at that time?
I was.
You were clearly marked as a police officer.
Yes, ma'am.
Would he have known that as well?
I believe so.
Let's see. Now, once you asked him to leave, What did he do?
Refused to do so.
So what did you do?
I attempted to go hands-on with him, escort him to the front of my patrol car.
When you say go hands-on with him, was that your attempt to effect the arrest?
Yes, ma'am, at that point.
Okay, and how did he respond?
He responded by attempting to pull his hands away from me. As I would grab him, he would push my hands back towards me, attempt to push away from my body.
So he used physical force against you
Yes, ma'am.
and both pulled you back.
Yes, ma'am.
Did this cause a struggle between you two?
It did.
At that point, did you ever get him to the front of your patrol unit?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he still continue to struggle?
Yes, ma'am.
How many officers did it take to get him into handcuffs?
I couldn't say for sure. More than myself.
So would you say with that, he was preventing you from effecting the arrest?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm handing you what has been marked State's Exhibit 1. Do you recognize this?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is it?
That is a copy of my body worn camera.
Have you had a chance to review it in its entirety?
Yes, ma'am.
How was it recorded?
On my body camera that was mounted to my uniform that night.
Is that device capable of making accurate recording?
Yes, ma'am.
Silly question, but are you a competent operator of that device?
I believe so.
Were there any alterations to this video?
No, ma'am, not to my knowledge.
Does it accurately and fairly depict the events that took place that night?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, may I?
Yes,
To the defense one section?
no objection. State's Exhibit number 1 is admitted.
Question about.
You may publish it.
The audio judge.
Turn the lights down.
That's your Honor to see what's wrong with the audio.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're gonna take a brief recess. Would you please follow the bailiff out into the hallway? Everyone, please stand as the jury exit the courtroom. Quarter being recessed. Maybe see it.
IT on full stand.
You may be seated. Jefferson County Court, Law number 2 is back in section. The court is in session in cause number 23 CCCR 2311. Case of style of state of Texas versus Roderick Lanier Tillman Jr. Let the record reflect that Mr. Tillman is present in court with his attorney, Attorney John Mason. State is present with Assistant Criminal District Attorney, Attorney Haley Simmons, and Mr. Samuel Osradian. Let the record also reflect that the jury is now present and seated in the courtroom. Ms. Simmons, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a quick question, Officer Ishii, so the jury understands, about what time does the audio recording kick on for your body worn camera?
It's there's a 30-second buffer period from the time that I activate it.
So there might be some silence during that period?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna go ahead and publish State Exhibit 1.
Okay.
Good to know. Paul,
Turn them off. There's enough. Yeah, that's good.
were you able to see this?
Yes, ma'am.
And there's another one behind you too.
We're not doing this. I'm trying to get you on the first. Say a bit like that. I'm never being a job. I talk to her, she know how to talk. This how I follow the decisions.
Are you gonna stand here and yell at me, or are you gonna leave like I'm telling you to before I get all up in your head like, hey,
You can't get it like this about this. That's wrong. You need to leave, that's wrong. That's wrong.
you need to leave the front.
No, look at my rights here, and I have to wait. I can make phone calls. Yeah. I didn't know you niggas nothing, man. Chill. Man, buddy, bro. What the fuck, man, nigga? What y'all making money for? Y'all niggas ain't even talking to me, my nigga. Y'all niggas tripping, dog. I didn't do y'all bitch ass niggas shit, my nigga. And y'all niggas tripping, cause y'all like my little life like y'all niggas, bro. Y'all niggas playing with me right now, my nigga. Nigga, y'all want to talk on car, nigga. I'm telling y'all, nigga. Nigga, what the fuck y'all nigga want to do? Shut the fuck up, you know. All right, man. What up? Good up? All right, man. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Damn, my nigga.
I gave you plenty of opportunity to walk away. I didn't want to. So now you're going to jail.
That hurt my wrist, man. You said it, bro. Come on, chill, man. That hurt my wrist, man.
Are you gonna shoot?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll look.
So, bro, please, man. So there you go, man. Oh, man.
Oh, you're way past that, man. You're going to jail. Let's explain that to you.
I'm so goddamn go, my nigga. Hey, nigga, that hurt me, my nigga. I don't understand that shit.
Hey, well, what do y'all?
No, man, fuck the money. Y'all fuck y'all dog. You gotta understand what y'all doing right now. I was never tripping, nigga. Nigga, fuck the liquor, nigga. Fuck the weed, nigga. I gotta talk with this woman, nigga. She wasn't listening to me. I was listening to her. There was no communication, my nigga. Man, no, I can't right now, man. I tried. Can't help it. What you mean that you can, nigga? You got the authority. All right, man. All right, man. Hey, this is praying me, man. I'm just talking. Like, I didn't know what you meant to me. Y'all niggas got kids, huh? Man, when y'all gonna tell me to tell you film? No, man, no, nigga. No, man, he keeps squeezing me and he's telling me, bud. I feel you now, I feel you. I feel you. I'm crazy, nigga.
That's what is wrong.
Ms. Mason, she passed the witness.
Oh, she did. Please support.
Yes. You may proceed.
Officer Ishii, my name is John Macy, I'm an attorney, okay? I represent Mr. Tillman, do you understand that, right?
Yes, sir.
Um. So. We just watched your body cam, that's your body cam, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Um. I think you told, Miss Simmons that, y'all had appeared there just to go into the parking lot to check things out. Y'all weren't called out there. Is that right?
We were not called there that night for that call.
That's, so. But there's quite a few people there, is that right?
Yes, sir.
In fact. If I counted correctly, it looked like there's about 8 officers there. Your memory
At which time?
on this video, when. Mr. Tillman was taken into custody, by the time he got his handcuffs on.
Yes, sir.
And it panned out. When you turned around, it looked like, and maybe I miscounted, it looked like 6 officers at least in the background. So I was wondering if you had a memory of that, if there was a lot of officers there or just you and the other officer that was assisting.
When I first made contact, I was there by myself.
Okay. You were the only one in the parking lot?
I was to my recollection, I was the only one in the parking lot.
Okay. Because, okay, so. You get there because you're just looking at. You patrol the area because you think that, or you'd heard that there was a lot of illegal activity in the area. So y'all were just there to check to make sure everything was all right. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So. Then. You focused on Mr. Tillman. Right?
He was pointed out to me.
Okay, he was pointed out to you, and so you went over there and he walked up to you with his hand out like this.
Yes, sir.
And he was trying to explain something to you, and you were telling him, first thing I heard you say was, then why don't you just leave? You remember saying that?
If it on the video, yes.
So, why would he have to leave?
The business asked him to leave.
Did you bother to ask him his side of the story about why it was that that you were told that they said they asked him to leave?
Can you rephrase the question?
You just testified that somebody told you to tell him that they had asked him to leave. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And so did you didn't go up and ask him whether there was an issue? You just went up there and asked him, told him to leave.
Yes, sir.
And then he went and he was trying to explain it to you and you kept saying, leave. You need to leave, you need to leave. And after about the 4th time, that's when you decided, all right, I'm gonna arrest him.
Yes, sir.
And you arrested him for what?
The initial arrest was for criminal trespassing.
For trespassing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know why he was there?
No, sir.
Okay, you didn't investigate that, right?
No, sir.
So if he had if he had a right to be there, if he paid to be there, and there was some issue with him and the person who told you they told him to leave, you wouldn't know anything about that because they didn't tell you that.
Yes, sir.
They just told you, I told him to leave and he wouldn't leave.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so you took that as your justification for believing that he was trespassing because trespassing is being told to leave and you don't leave, is one of the things, right?
Can be, yes, sir.
Or it can be other things like you showed up, and then were warned, hey, these people don't want you here, don't come back. And then you find somebody that comes back, and then that's trespassing too.
That's part of it, yes, sir.
But that didn't happen here. Here it was just you going and initially telling them to leave, and then it escalated into that.
Yes, sir.
So you're all right, that's what.
Okay. Ms. Simmons?
Brief, Your Honor.
Okay.
So, as an officer, I assume you know what criminal trespass is.
Yes, sir.
So for a trespass, does one commit the offense if they remain on the property of another without that person's effective consent?
Yes, ma'am.
Throughout your investigation here on September 16th, 2023, did you become aware that Mr. Tillman did not have the effective consent of the owner to be on that property?
Yes, ma'am.
So you decided to arrest him for trespass?
Yes, ma'am.
And he continued to struggle with you?
Yes, ma'am.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Mason?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understood what your testimony was just now. Because I asked you if you investigated the case to find out why it was there, and I thought you told me you didn't. At the time you arrested him, you don't know whether the owner told him he had permission to be there or not, do you?
The security guards that I made contact with informed me they did not want him there any longer and that he was refusing to leave.
Do you know whether or not there was an altercation between the security guard and Mr. Tillman?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you know whether or not Mr. Tillman had been had paid to be in a party inside the establishment?
No, sir.
You don't know any of that. And so, but what you could see is there's a lot of people in the parking lot, right?
Yes, sir.
There's a big long line.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if there was some issue between this security guard and Mr. Tillman, you don't know anything about that?
No, sir.
Okay. You just took that person's word for it and didn't ask Mr. Tillman, or didn't hear Mr. Tillman's side because you just wanted him to leave?
No, sir.
I don't understand your no, sir. What are you saying? Are you?
If I understand your question, the way you stated it was, I didn't want to hear Mr. Tillman's side, so I just wanted him to leave. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that wrong?
My job at that point is to get him to leave.
You believed that you had enough authority to at that time to tell him to leave.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so if he wasn't trespassed, then you wouldn't have had a right to arrest him, right?
No, sir.
You arrested him for trespass.
Yes, sir.
So if he wasn't trespassing, then that arrest for trespassing wouldn't have been lawful,
No, sir.
right? Am I right or wrong?
You were correct.
Okay. I'll pass it on.
Ms. Simmons?
I have no further questions. Please, witness.
Okay, may this witness be excused? Mr. Macy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, at this time, Officer Issue, you're free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Do I need to hold this one?
No, you can leave it right there. Simmons, you can call your next witness.
Take Mr.
Okay. Mr. Macy,
Thank you, Judge. I'd like to call Lilia Franco.
okay, Ms. Franco? Ms. Franco, would you please come forward? And raise your right hand. Ms. Franco, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Ms. Franco, you may put your hand down. You can take a seat in the witness stand and you can adjust the mic. Mr. Macy, you may
Thank
proceed.
you, Judge. Could you state your name for the record?
Lilia Franco?
Ms. Franco, what's your relationship, if any, to Mr. Tillman?
Grandfather, boyfriend, spouse, I don't know. We're together though.
You're together.
Mhm.
He's the father of your child?
Mhm.
Okay. When you answer me, I'm sorry.
Oh,
you
sorry.
said-
Yes, sir.
you Try to
Yes, sir.
say yes or no,
Yes.
because she can't, she's taking down what you're saying.
Yes, he's the father of my child.
Okay. Were you present that night?
Yes, sir. We arrived together.
Okay, you said we were out together. Who was out together?
Me and Roger arrived to the scenery together.
Okay. And why, was there something going on there?
Yes, sir. Me and my best friend at the time, we had booked a section for her birthday. So that's what we were there for her birthday.
Okay. So you were there for your birthday?
No, her birthday.
Her birthday?
Yeah, but we
And-
went half on the section. Like on the section in the scenery. We booked a section to sit at a table,
Okay, so you had paid for
a
a
table.
birthday party.
Yeah,
Um, and y'all, at what time did y'all get there? Do you remember?
I'll say around 10.
Okay. And then, at some point, did you? Well, all right, so I take it, you have a section inside the restaurant. Is it a restaurant or a bar? Or
It's
is it
like
both?
it's in between, it's like a restaurant slash club, outside club.
Okay. And so you're in this birthday party and inside,
Correct.
and at some point, did you all go outside?
Yes, we all went outside to go meet up with a group of other friends.
And were they, the other friends supposed to be at the party too?
Yes, they were on the list. We all, when we arrived, we all got wristbands for the people that were on the list.
Okay,
So they were on the list as well. So that's why we all went outside to go meet up with them.
okay. So y'all, how did that work? To get the wristbands? How does that, so you got a section, y'all paid for it?
Yes, sir, we paid for it.
And so that section was available for y'all all night?
So
Or,
basically until the club closed, yes, sir. So
Okay.
when we arrived, we just provided our names. And then the people that we listed on that list, we got wristbands to enter and leave out as we please.
okay. So you went outside to find some other people on the list,
Correct.
and then what happened?
By the time we made it back into going in, the lady police officer or the security guard that was there at the door, she basically made it seem like we had to go all the way at the end of the line to wait when we had wristbands, so it was a whole altercation, but it started when, so we cut in front of the people that didn't have wristbands, because we already had them. And when we cut, Roger had his hand on, this is how it started. Roger has his hand on my lower hip, and someone was pushing his hand off, but we didn't know who it was until after the fact, until she started yelling, saying, "Get her hands, his hands off her, your hands off her." And then that's how it escalated. So I ignored her and I was like, it's no reason for you to tell basically my man to take his hands off of me. We already have wristbands, so there's no point of us going all the way to the end of the line when we paid our way in and we have a section here. So,
Okay, we kind of stop you, did you think that the wristbands gave you some special,
yes, sir, because
Rights?
when we first got there, she told us we can leave in and out as we please.
who's she?
The security guard that checked us when
The
we first
same
arrived.
lady?
The same lady.
Okay, so when, at the beginning of that video, you can see a big long line.
That's the line that she wanted us to
That's
go
the
off.
line.
Yes.
Were all those people being let in immediately, or were they
Yeah.
having to wait for a table, or what?
They had, well, it was already starting to get packed, so they had to wait until people left. That's how it works. If it's too full or overpopulated, they, make them wait until people start leaving out the door. Then they'll make them pay, and then it just
Okay,
goes like that.
but you were of the opinion that that didn't apply to you.
No, sir, because that's what we were told. And then we made sure before we left, if we could leave out, since we already had the, yellow wristbands.
Okay.
That means that we have a section, and they advised us, told us we can.
Okay, so when she told you, all of a sudden, now it changed, and all of a sudden, they wanted you to wait?
Honestly, when we got back, towards the line to go back in, she was already right here, but not that this is relevant, but she was intoxicated under her job. So when all that escalated, I wanted to talk to somebody higher than her, which was the owner of the club, and let him know that his security guard is intoxicated while doing her job, which I don't think that's right. You're supposed to make sure people get in that club and not prevent any violence. So
Okay, so did you? I just want you to be make sure the jury understands what you're saying. Um, Did she know you were gonna, or do you know if she knew? If you think she knew? Whether or not you were trying to go over her head?
meaning like go over her head and,
Talk to the manager.
yes, I let her know. I specifically told her I want to speak to someone higher than me. Now, the male security guard, which we went to school with, he proceeded to go get him.
Okay,
And he was trying to push all of us in there because he knew that she was intoxicated. So he was basically pushing me, my best friend Roderick, because we were all in the same group, everybody else in the doorway. She didn't want him to be in there for what apparent reason, because she told him to get his hands off me.
Objecting your say, Your Honor.
In response,
I don't know if she said anything that she just testified that she had made a statement.
She made a statement, she said.
okay, she told, yeah. Objection sustained. Okay, you may proceed.
Did she all of a sudden get upset? Was she already upset with y'all?
Yeah, because I was arguing with her.
You were
regarding the
arguing with her
situation.
about what?
Yeah, about pushing his hands off of me. Like, it was no reason for you to do that.
Okay. Do you know that, well, the officer, you were in the back, you heard the officer testify, didn't you?
Oh,
Just
yeah, I
now.
heard that, yes, I did hear.
Um. He said he arrested Roger because he was trespassing.
That was our first.
Do you think he was trespassing?
No, sir, that was our first time there since the park opened.
Well, y'all paid to be there.
Correct,
In fact, that's what y'all were trying to clear up with the manager
correct,
as to why it was she was trying to make y'all stay outside when y'all had the wristbands and y'all had the right to go in as far as you do.
correct.
Okay. Okay.
Ms. Simmons,
Yes.
you may proceed.
Good afternoon. It's Ms. Franco?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Franco, so you were here at this establishment on September 16th, 2023. And you said y'all went outside.
Correct,
I'm guessing this was the entire group you were with?
yes, ma'am.
Sorry, go on.
Okay, you may proceed.
Now, within that group, I'm assuming Roderick was with you.
Correct.
You said you were approached by the security officer by the way he was holding you?
No, it was the security guard that was checking everybody to make sure we didn't have weapons on.
Okay, so the security guard was checking everybody in the group you were with,
Correct,
but Roderick was next to you.
behind me.
Okay, and
I
he was
in front.
holding your waist.
Correct.
She asked him to remove his hands?
No, she was slapping it at first, not knowing, everybody's under the influence. We're not knowing who's doing this
Okay,
until after the fact she started yelling. When she yelled,
I'm gonna stop you right there real quick.
okay,
You said she was making sure nobody had weapons on them.
yes,
Is that right? Is it possible she was trying to separate each individual so she could ensure that each individual did not have a weapon?
the way she was approaching, no.
You testified in your testimony that there was an altercation. Is that right?
Yes,
Between you and the security guard,
yes, but she took it out on Roger.
okay? But it escalated, right?
No, she escalated it, but
But you testified as well that you continued the confrontation, you were arguing back, is that right?
arguing, stating that she's in the wrong for,
Just that you were arguing with her, is that right?
yeah, correct.
So you continued into the altercation that you just described with your rate.
No, correct, ignored her and then continues to talk to her boss, but correct.
Okay. So you say she took it out on Roderick. By taking it out, was she asking him or telling him to leave the
No,
establishment?
She pushed him out the way for no reason. She used force against him,
And you're talking about the security officer.
the security officer, the lady, yes.
The one you said was intoxicated.
Correct.
How do you know?
I smelled it on her breath. She was literally right here. We were right, this is how close we were.
You're able to tell when someone's
You
intoxicated?
smelled it.
How many people were around you?
Behind us, a lot, I probably over 100.
Okay. I'm guessing it's a bar. There's a lot of alcohol, right?
Correct, but we just got there.
Let me ask you this. While you're outside, did you see the struggle ensue between Officer Ishii and Roderick?
Correct,
So you agree there was trouble?
yeah. No, wait,
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Macy. You have no more
No
questions?
more questions.
Okay, may this witness be excused? Okay, Ms. Franco, you may step down. You have a blessed day.
Oh, he's
Your Honor, I'd like to call Robert Tillman Jr.
Mr. Tillman, would you please come forward? Come up here and then I'm gonna swear you in. Stand in front of the bench.
Yes,
Mr. Tillman, do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth,
Yes,
and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Tillman, you may put your hand down. You can take a seat, the witness stand.
Yes.
Could adjust the chair.
Yes.
Mr. Macy, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please state your name for the record.
My name is Roderick Lanier Tillman Jr.
Mr. Tillman, you're the defendant in this case, right?
Yes, sir.
You understand that the Constitution gives you the right to remain silent, and you don't have to testify in this case. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And but you want to testify. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, explain to the jury, do you recall what time y'all got to, what was the name of the place?
The park on Calvin.
The Park on Calder. Okay, and, you went there with some friends,
Yes, sir.
and what the purpose was to go to the
To
park?
celebrate my baby mother's best friend birthday party.
Okay. Do you recall what time you got there?
No, sir, to be honest, honestly, it wasn't my plans to even get out. You know what I mean? I was at home and my baby mother called me because she said that she wanted me to be with her. Now, around that time when she did call me, I think it was about like, I'm gonna give it like 9:30. So if anything, probably like 2 o'clock when we did arrive, to be honest.
When you arrived, were there a lot of people already there?
Yes, sir.
Had they already reserved that section that y'all were talking, that Ms. Franco testified about?
Yes, sir. It was already paid for and the table was already ready.
Okay, so when you first got there, did you go in there?
Lydia's best friend came outside and handed us the wristbands.
Handed you a wristband, okay, and then did you go inside?
Yes, sir.
And how, did you wait in a big long line?
No, sir.
Was there a big long line?
It was a decent line. It wasn't that many people around that time, in the beginning, because, you know, people like to wait to come when it's already packed.
Okay, okay. Um, but you did spend some time inside in the section enjoying the party.
Yes, sir.
And then at some point you went outside.
Yes, sir. We all honestly walked out together to meet up with the other guests basically that was on the list.
Right.
So we can hand them their wristbands as well, so they wouldn't have any trouble getting in.
Right. And what happened after that?
Honestly, once everybody, you know, made their count and made sure that everybody was there, present, we all walked together with our wristbands, you know what I mean? To proceed to go in. And my classmate Donnie, neighborhood childhood friend as well, he was like, oh, y'all good, all y'all have wristbands. And he proceeded to tell us to come on. And then the lady security guard, she had braids on and everything. She stepped in the way and she pushed Donnie out the way and said, oh, there's no special privilege.
You have a response?
I'm sorry, I didn't
She
hear.
she objected to by saying that it was hearsay.
I have no response
Okay.
to that, Your Honor.
Objection sustained. You may proceed.
Mr. Tillman. Donnie is who? Someone you went to school with?
Yes, sir.
And he was there?
Yes, sir.
And was he in your party?
No, sir. He was there working. He's a security guard as well.
Okay, he was a security guard there.
Yes, sir.
And so he was trying to let you in because you had a wristband.
Yes, sir. And honestly,
And then,
when we first got there, he spotted me first, and me and him was actually having a buddy conversation. I was letting
Okay.
him know.
understand. So you were just trying to get back inside.
We all were.
Okay. So how was it that you ended up on the video? When, I'm just trying to have them understand what I saw was the officer was looking toward the building, the bar. And then he turned like this. And then you could see somebody talking to him. And then he turned like that and you walked toward him. You recall that? And you saw it on the video. Okay. What were you doing over there?
Well, from the beginning, honestly, at the line, whenever the security guard, the lady was basically she kind of like pushed Donnie out the way and was saying that no one gets special privilege. But they,
Yeah, I'll try not to say what somebody said.
Objections to say.
Okay, what I'm asking you is, I'm sorry, what?
please.
Mr. Lanier,
Yes, sir.
only respond to a question. You just
Yes,
can't
sir.
blurt out and start talking.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you may proceed.
Okay, so. If I'm. If I'm seeing this correctly, so when the officer. Building's here, he turns this way, so the building's here. And you can see him in the video, somebody's talking to him. He has his. He has the volume turned off, so you can't hear what they say. You just see him talking, right? Is that yes?
Yes, sir.
And you're in that direction.
Yes, sir.
The line is behind the person that was talking,
Yes, sir.
because the door is over there.
Yes, sir.
And there's a big long line,
Yes, sir.
and you were over there in this direction,
Yes,
kind of, when the officer turned around toward him and you walked to him.
Yeah.
It shows on the video. And what I saw on the video was that the first thing that the officer told you to do was leave.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what were you doing? What were you trying to do?
Honestly, when I was pushed and shoved out of the line for having my hands secured around my woman, basically my wife proceeded to go talk to the owner. But while that's going on, she was pushing and shoving me out of the line, even big face me, but a hand over my face, pushing me out of the line, and told me that she didn't want to talk to me or none of that, and she told me to move around. Honestly, so
Objection sustained.
So did you tell the officer?
I I didn't tell the officer anything. Whenever she did that, I just said, you know what? I'm just not even gonna make it a whole big deal. I'm gonna walk off. That's
Okay.
when you see me walking to the officer, because as I walked off, I had stuck, I was by the fence, right? Way by the wooden fence, way to the back. I had already been walked off from the building, you know what I mean? And I was trying to call my girl, you know what I mean? To kind of just tell her like, hey man, I need you to come outside and see what's going on because I think something's up. You know what I mean? Because I was sitting there from a distance watching the officer go talk to her, and I seen, you know, them pointing and things like that. So I'm like, okay, before they get to start saying anything or trying to manipulate anything, I think it's best for me to kind of actually introduce myself so I hopefully he can be a peacemaker and sit there and understand me and let me talk to him. You know what I mean? And I went to shake his hand. He didn't want to shake my hand, and he instantly asked me or told me to leave.
Okay.
And he did. He tried to get me to explain, but yet he let the security guard kind of butt in, and you know, cause they was in his ear. They was right beside him. They was in his ear talking and stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe it kind of got him disturbed to the point to where he just didn't want to talk to me at all because I'm trying to talk. They trying to talk, but they're talking over me. Then when I'm trying to talk, he telling me that I have to wait
I
my
understand.
turn.
But so the video, what I see is when he went up there, there was some sentence that I'm not even sure I understood, but the first thing he said was, then why don't you leave? So you had said something to him that had him respond to with those words. Why don't you leave then? Right, is what he said. You remember?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then why didn't you leave?
Because honestly, I didn't know my way around it, and I pulled up with my wife. That's her vehicle.
Did you think that you had to leave?
Honestly, no, sir.
Okay. And so he told you to leave, and then he told you to leave, and then he told you to leave, and he told you to leave, and all that took about, I don't know, however many seconds it's on the video. And then he lunged at you, right? And you kind of, what were you feeling? Were you feeling anything?
Honestly, if you really want to be real, I was scared. Don't get me wrong. You know, I felt attacked because and I felt unfair at that moment because no one wanted to talk to me. They took matters of their own hands and thought what they was doing was right.
Okay. And you were telling him that that wasn't right,
Yes, sir.
and all that's on the video.
Yes, sir.
And he basically, for lack of a better term, kind of manhandled you into
Yes, sir.
turning around, throwing you up against the car, and that's when they characterized it as a struggle.
Yes, sir. They ganged up on me. It went from one cop, which was the guy that was sitting here, and then before you know it, once he reached out, you know, I was kind of scared for my life. I ain't gonna lie, I actually thought I was being attacked. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And before you know it, a few more started coming up, ganging up on me. You know what I mean? They picked me up. They was grabbing by my legs and my arms. One choked me. They slammed me against the car. They slammed my face against the car, and obviously in the video, you honestly hear me screaming and stuff like that, and telling them like, "What are y'all doing?" I'm trying to see if somebody was actually being a human being at that moment,
Okay.
and no one cared.
So it upset you, right?
Yes,
You were scared. There's these officers attacking you, right? Or no? Were you scared?
yes,
Okay. Did you think that they were doing something, that they were going overboard?
yes. All they had to do was just talk and just understand what was really going on.
So, from your perspective, they didn't need to do that to you.
There was never a reason to arrest me.
Okay.
How was I trespassed? That was my first time there. Everything was paid for, the table was already ready. And we honestly thought due to the wristbands, by the owner, it states that if you have wristbands, you got the permission to go in and out. Everybody just has to stand in line. Even if you walk back outside and you already been in there, you don't have the wristband, you have to get to the end of the line.
I don't understand what you said. Are you saying that you you thought that even though you had a wristband, you had to get to the end of the line, or you thought you didn't?
But I did.
Um, did you think that the force the officer was using against you to arrest you was unnecessary?
And so the beating, in my right shoulder, they rolled it. That's what made me say, all right, I'm sorry. Because at that point, it's like that's what they were looking for.
Okay. Ms. Simmons?
Mr. Arnold. Hello, Mr. Tillman.
You doing?
You understand we're here for resisting, correct?
Awesome.
We're not here because the VIP tickets were in question. You understand that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you personally get into any type of altercation with the security guard?
No,
You were walking away at this point. Why?
because honestly, for some apparent reason, she felt like I was in the wrong of securing my woman. She was putting her hands, mind you, at the time, I'm feeling somebody slapping.
I just want to know why you walked away. Let's stick with that.
Okay. I walked away because I felt like going back and forth is just unnecessary.
Okay, but you wanted to separate yourself. You went to the park. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm following along with you. I think the jury wants to as well. So when Officer Ishii approached you, he had told you numerous times that he was told that you needed to leave the establishment. Is that correct?
Honestly, he tried to give me the permission to talk, but it's like he had already had his mind made up. He was already going based on what they were telling him.
Did he ask you to, did he tell you that he was told that you needed to leave the premises?
Yes.
Did you listen? If I play back this video, did you listen? Why?
I felt unfair.
You felt unfair, but you were told the owner of the establishment did not want you on that premises.
Why?
That's not, I'm asking you the questions.
Okay.
Were you told the owner of the establishment did not want you on the premises?
Can you repeat that question again? I'm sorry.
Yes. Were you told that the owner or the security guard did not want you on that premises?
No, honestly, my girl and her best friend was already talking to the owner.
Let's just stick to the question.
No, trust me, I am. And honestly, I even had a chance to talk with the owner. He told me personally, while my wife was sitting right on the side of me,
We cannot speak
that
as to
he
what
was-
others are saying that are not here to testify.
hear me out. I'm actually answering your question. I'm telling you, we
I'm
personally,
just gonna object to the hearsay that's oncoming. He keeps saying what he said.
Listen, objection sustained. Just, you can't say what somebody else told you. Okay, all right. You may proceed.
Your Honor. You said you spoke to the owner?
yes, sir. I mean, yes, ma'am.
You're fine. Who's the owner?
I can describe him. He's tall. He's bald head. He is from Beaumont, Texas. I got family members that went to school with him as well. I personally don't know him, but
You don't know his
from my
name.
experience, he was a great guy. And he was actually trying to help.
What was he wearing that night? Do you know? Do you recall?
He was dressed up. I mean, he's an owner, so I mean, I don't really know.
Was he wearing all red by chance?
I don't know what he was wearing, honestly. I just know he was a tall guy.
I'm gonna stop you real quick. I'm gonna play a portion of the video, okay?
Yeah.
Now you got kids, huh? Man, my number 10 is telling you film. No, man, no, nigga. No, man, he keeps squeezing me, he's telling me, but I feel you, but I'll feel you. You feel me?
You speak to this gentleman? In the red? I know it's hard to see, but. Did you hear him come up to him?
Yes, and I'm pretty sure, I think that was after he had already spoke to me and Lilia.
I want you to listen.
Oh, man, he keeps squeezing me, he's telling me, but I feel you, but I'll feel you. You feel me?
Did you hear him say he wanted to file charges for criminal trespass on you?
Yes, after the fact, but I'm pretty sure he's only doing that because
just need
he
to
didn't want to
stick to
deal with
questions.
it because
Okay, objection sustained. Turn the lights on.
You did hear that though, correct?
yes,
But we're here for the resisting. Are you telling me you did not use force against Officer Logan Ishii? Do I need to play that part? You were here when Officer Ishii testified, is that right?
yes,
Okay. Did you hear him say that he decided to effect the arrest at the time he went to grab you so he could pull you to the front of his unit? Did you hear that?
yes,
I'm just gonna ask nicely that you speak up. The court reporter has to hear everything.
yes.
Thank you. You said he lunged at you?
No, honestly, he just forcefully just went to grab me. Like,
But he had asked you to move to the front of his patrol unit, did he not?
person that really didn't ask me, he was telling me to. He just went based off what they told him.
That they did not want you on the property. Is that right?
From what the lady security guard said. She never explained the reason why she got into it.
Objection, not responsive. We just gotta stick to the questions asked.
Objection sustained.
That's wrong. You need to leave, that's wrong. That's wrong. No, because my ride is here, and I have to wait. I have to make phone calls.
He told you repeatedly to walk to the front of the car. What did you do?
Trying to explain to him that my ride is here
What
and
did you physically do?
can you play the video back a little bit more?
Is this fine? At this part?
That's wrong. You need to leave, that's wrong. You need to leave, that's wrong. You need to leave the property. No, because my ride is here, and I have to wait. I have to make phone calls.
What did you physically do in that moment?
I flinched because I was in fear of my life. I felt attacked.
You flinched or you pulled away?
I flinched. I literally flinched.
But you told me, and you just testified, that when Officer Ishii came up here, it was in this moment he told you he was effecting the arrest. Is that correct?
I flinched.
Let's keep watching. Remember, Officer Ishii has testified that you were under arrest at this point. Do you see your arms actively pushing against him?
When I flinched and
Do
he
you
grabbed,
see
when
your
I-
arms actively pushing against him?
when I flinched and he grabbed my arm, I rested. I didn't do no swinging or nothing. Then he proceeded to use his other arm to
Yeah.
force me.
Do you see your arms actively pushing against Officer Logan Ishii? Objection to non-responsive, Your Honor.
Objection sustained.
You told me the officers had slammed your head into the car.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it at that moment you're claiming that?
Yes, you can hear it.
Were they not placing you in a vehicle so they could secure the
No.
arms behind your back?
No, man, they turned me around, they like swung me around, threw me against the hood, and then someone grabbed my head and went bam.
Were
Hit
you-
my lip, that's when I turned my head this way and went bam. You know what I mean? And then, pretty much, then, I remember, feeling like,
Let's,
others-
again, we're gonna stick to the question. Okay, I promise we're getting there.
Okay.
We're gonna keep going down the line. So you're saying someone at this moment slammed your head into the head.
yes, ma'am.
Where are your arms at this point?
Honestly, they trying to get my arms wrapped around, but the way they were doing it, it was like they didn't care how they were doing it. Like, no offense, but like all the action figures.
Where were your arms?
When they slammed me here, they already had it by my arms. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm facing this way, and it's like, well, they turn me, boom.
Let me ask you this.
You know what I mean? And then, that boom right there is when I turn my head. You feel me? And then next thing you know, I just feel them, going like this, and I'm trying to talk to them. You know what I mean?
Are you
And then
pulling
before
away? Are you pulling away as you're?
no, they actually grabbing me. They grabbing me.
So why?
I only weigh 120 pounds.
I know. Why were your hands not behind your back at that point?
Honestly, I'm trying to talk to them.
So you were preventing them from affecting the
I
arrest.
wasn't preventing them to
Then
affect
why were
them.
your
They had
hands-
no reason to arrest me.
Why were your hands not behind your back at that point?
I don't know, maybe they was fumbling with my arms, but I was not sitting there fighting these men. There's too many to be fighting.
You hear him actively saying, "Give me your other arm"? Do you hear it? Yes or no?
Yes.
I didn't know you niggas nothing, man. Chill. Yeah, bro. What the fuck, my nigga?
I want to point this out to you. At the very beginning, you asked me to replay the video so you could see it from the top, remember?
Yes.
Do you realize I created that timestamp? It was at 1:08, 1 minute, 8 seconds. Do you understand that you testified that you heard Officer Ishii tell you at that moment he was effecting the arrest on you? Did you hear that?
They were already,
Did
they
you
were
hear?
putting me in handcuffs from the beginning
Objection.
for no reason.
Did you hear? that?
Objection sustained.
Objection, Your Honor. I can't tell what she's asking him, so I don't know that he can tell. Is she
What-
asking him, can he hear it now, or could he hear it then?
No,
Okay, so what's your objection?
The objection is that, it's ambiguous.
Would you like me to rephrase? I will.
Okay, objection sustained. You may rephrase your question.
You heard Officer Ishii's testimony at that 1 minute 8 timestamp. He was attempting to effect the arrest on you.
I thought they were trying to arrest me from the beginning when I flinched, and then
Correct.
he proceeded to put out his other arm. He insisted, he
It's time out.
unfortunately tried
Time out.
to arrest me right
Time
then
out.
and
We
there.
got to focus on
Not when we
questions
got to
here.
the car.
Your Honor, objection and non-response.
Objection sustained.
I just want to point out, can you see this number right here, Mr. Tillman? It says 2
No,
minutes
ma'am.
and 27 seconds.
You have that pointer
Yes.
right there?
So are you telling me from the 1 minute and 8 timestamp where Officer Ishii attempted to effect the arrest on you all the way up until 2 minutes and 27 seconds, you were not struggling with him?
they were struggling with me, honestly, because I mean, I'm trying to talk to them. And I mean, honestly, if you want to be real,
Objection, non-responsive.
Objection sustained.
I have no further questions.
Okay, Mr. Macy, you may proceed.
Mr. Tillman. They just showed this a couple of times. Your arms turn that way? When he's grabbing you and trying to twist you around, do your arms turn that way? Let me ask you, this way. Did that hurt?
yes,
Were they hurting you that whole
Yes.
time? Did you think that them hurting you that whole time was necessary?
no,
You think that it was, more, the force that they were using was more force than was necessary under the circumstance?
yes, sir. It was more force than understanding.
That's-
Okay, Miss
I have no
Simmons,
further, Your Honor.
okay. And it's what to step down? Mr. Macy?
I have no further witnesses, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Tillman, you can take your seat. And Mr. Macy, you said you have no further witnesses?
Yeah, I rest, Judge.
You rest? State, do you have any rebuttal?
No, Your Honor, the state is not.
Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, the state and the defense have rested, this case. We're going to take a recess. And while you're on recess, we will have what is called a charge conference in here. That is, the court is has prepared a charge. The defense and the state will review it, see if they have any objections or inclusion. And so we'll have that charge conference. And so, once the charge conference has ended, then, the court will bring you back in, read to you the court's charge, and then the state and the defense will do their closing arguments. Okay? So at this time, would you please stand as the jury exits the courtroom? Court will be in recess. Okay, you may be seated. Yeah, yeah, turn it. Okay. At this time, cause number 23, CCCR 2311 is back in session. The case is filed in the state of Texas versus Roderick Lanier Tillman. Let the record reflect that Mr. Tillman is present in court with his attorney, Attorney John Macy. Let the record also reflect that the state is present with Assistant Criminal District Attorney, Attorney Haley Simmons, and Mr. Samuel Masradian. State, are you ready?
It's ready, Your Honor.
Defense, are you ready? Okay.
This is really.
All right, y'all may be seated. Members of the jury, the defendant, Roderick Lanier Tillman, stands charged with the offense of resisting arrest, search, or transportation. Alleged to have been committed in Jefferson County, Texas, on or about the 16th day of September of 2023. To this charge, the defendant has entered a plea of not guilty. A person commits the offense if he intentionally prevents or obstructs a person he knows is a peace officer from effecting an arrest, search, or transportation, or the actor by using force against the peace officer. It is no defense that the arrest was unlawful. So that you may better understand the nature of the offense which the defendant is charged, I now define certain terms and words. A person intentionally or with intent with respect to the nature of his conduct when it is the conscious objective or desire to cause the result. You are instructed that the use of force to resist an arrest is justified if, before a person offers any resistance, the peace officer uses or attempts to use greater force than necessary to make the arrest, and when to the degree the person reasonably believes the force is immediately necessary to protect himself against the peace officer's use or attempted use of greater force than necessary. The term reasonable belief means a belief that would be held by an ordinary or prudent man in the same circumstances as the actor in the particular situation. If you find from the evidence, or if you have reasonable doubt thereof, that on the occasion in question, Logan Ishii, the peace officer, used or attempted to use greater force than necessary to effect an arrest of the defendant before the defendant offered any resistance, and the defendant resisted such efforts to arrest him when and to the degree he reasonably believed the force was immediately necessary to protect himself against such use or attempted use of greater force than necessary, then you will acquit the defendant of the charge of resisting arrest. Therefore, if you believe from the evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant, Roderick Lanier Tillman Jr., did in Jefferson County, Texas, on or about the 16th day of September 2023, did then and there intentionally obstruct or prevent Logan Ishii from effecting the arrest of the defendant by using force against Logan Ishii, a peace officer, to wit, by struggling with the arresting officer, and the defendant knew that Logan Ishii was a peace officer, you will find the defendant guilty. Unless you so find beyond the reasonable doubt, or if you have reasonable doubt thereof, you will find the defendant not guilty. General instructions. All persons are presumed to be innocent, and no person may be convicted of the offense unless each element of the offense is proved beyond a reasonable doubt. The fact that a person has been arrested, confined, or indicted for or otherwise charged with the offense gives rise to no inference of guilt at the trial. The law does not require a defendant to prove innocence or produce any evidence at all. The presumption of innocence alone is sufficient to acquit the defendant unless the jurors are satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt of the defendant's guilt after careful and impartial consideration of all the evidence in the case. The prosecution has the burden of proving the defendant guilty, and it must do so by proving each and every element of the offense charged beyond a reasonable doubt. And if it fails to do so, you must acquit the defendant. It is not required that the prosecution prove guilt beyond all possible doubt. It is required that the prosecution's proof excludes all reasonable doubt concerning the defendant's guilt. You have a right to consider all the facts that are shown by the evidence and to draw natural and reasonable inferences from such facts. You alone have the authority and duty to determine what the facts are. In evaluating the evidence, you must totally disregard what you believe is my opinion about any factual matter. You cannot question the bailiff concerning the testimony or the law, nor should you discuss the case in her presence. If any question develops during your deliberation, it must be reduced to writing, signed by your foreperson, and given to the bailiff. The question will then be answered by the court as soon as possible to the extent allowed by the law. Questions and comments of the attorneys do not constitute testimony and must not be considered as evidence. You must also disregard any statement of the attorneys that is inconsistent with the law contained in this charge. Any physical exhibits admitted into evidence will be furnished to you by the bailiff upon your request. You must not consider facts that have not been introduced into evidence or legal principles not contained in this charge. It is improper for you to discuss or consider anything which you know or have learned outside of the testimony presented to you and the law contained in this charge. If you should discover that you have any outside information, you should not mention this information to any other juror nor consider it yourself in arriving at a verdict. You are the exclusive judges of the facts proven, the believability of the witnesses, and the weight to be given their testimony. However, you must be bound by and strictly follow the law contained in this charge. Your failure to follow the law could result in a mistrial being declared, and your deliberate violation of this charge could subject you to being held in contempt of court. After the attorneys present their arguments, you will retire, select a foreperson, and consider your verdict. The arguments are not evidence, and you should give the arguments only the consideration you feel they deserve during the evaluation of the case. It is the duty of your foreperson to make certain that your deliberations are conducted in accordance with this charge. After you have reached a unanimous decision, your foreperson should sign the appropriate verdict attached to this charge. In returning your verdict, it is your responsibility to make certain that justice is done in this case. The last page of the charge is our verdict form. There are two locations. First says, we the jury find the defendant not guilty as charged in the information of resisting arrest. And if this is your verdict, your foreperson will sign on the top line. Or at the bottom, we the jury find the defendant guilty as charged in the information of resisting arrest. And if this is your verdict, your foreperson will sign on the bottom line. Does everyone understand? Okay. Okay. State, are you ready to make an opening, or will you reserve your opening?
State waives the right to open and reserves the right to close, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Mason, you may proceed.
Yes. Good afternoon. We appreciate all your attention. The long day. This is this case is kind of unusual in that Mr. Tillman was basically arrested, arguably for trespassing when he was trespassing, but it doesn't matter. Even though I asked the officer if he wasn't trespassing, was he arrested illegal, and he said, yeah. But it doesn't matter, because the statute says it doesn't matter if the officer illegally arrested him. What matters is, was he resisting? Resisting, it's in your charge. The elements of it, the most difficult element to prove, in my opinion, is force. We fight over that. What's force against a police officer sufficient to be resisting arrest? It's not just struggle, although they say that's enough. They say it's enough. I say it's not enough. It's not resisting. It's he was trying to explain what was happening, but officer didn't want to hear him. He just wanted him to leave. And when he refused to leave, the officer lunged at him and started twisting his arms and doing all kinds of stuff. So the officer, and he's struggling. You have the video. You can see it. You've seen it already. You get it. You get it. It's admitted into evidence. You can watch it. You can have it taken. You can watch it again. You can watch it 10 times if you want. To see what every little nuance of it. But I'm asserting to you that doesn't raise to the level of resisting. However, y'all might think it does. Okay. That's y'all's decision. Y'all, it's a fact-finding issue. However, it's an unusual circumstance in that even though if y'all think that force was used by him, there's another statute that has to do with defending yourself against an officer's unreasonable assertion of force against you while they're trying to arrest you. And you have a right to protect yourself against that. And I asked him about that, and he thought that the officer went overboard. He hurt him. He was physically hurting Mr. Tillman when he was trying to arrest him. And that what he did to Mr. Tillman was unreasonable. And if you believe that that was the case, which is defined here, understand, it's a different force I'm talking about. The first force is the statute. Did Mr. Tillman use force? And because he had to use force in order to be resisting arrest at all. So if Mr. Tillman didn't use force, then you have to acquit him. You have to say he's not guilty. But even if you think Mr. Tillman used force, the other part of the statute, there's another statute that talks about the officer's use of force. That's a different force. It's not Mr. Tillman using force. It's the officer using force. And in that case, and it's here in the charge, it says, you're instructed that the use of force I say that. Mr. Tillman, it's the first part that I talked about was correct. Okay, about if Mr. Tillman didn't use force against the officer, he didn't resist arrest. The second part is if Mr. Tillman used force because the officer was using unreasonable force against him, then the force that Mr. Tillman was using to protect himself is justified. And so you can't consider, so you have to acquit him anyway. Because the officer's force was such that it allowed Mr. Tillman to use force. And that's what this, and so I'm asserting, I don't believe he used force. First off, but if he did, he used force to protect himself against an unreasonable force on the police officer. And in either event, you have to find Mr. Tillman not guilty. And I would ask that you do that. And I think that would be justice in this case. I appreciate your time. Listen, finish.
Okay. Mr. Maserati? Yeah. I need to put it on the. Can they see the television?
I'm so welcome to you.
Two, first one of yours off the door.
Unless you put it in,
You want everyone to see the TV? Yeah, you can see it.
you may proceed.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I want to begin by talking about what Mr. Macy said was y'all's job as the jury during board dire yesterday. He said that it was y'all's job to take the evidence that's been entered into the record and apply it to the law to reach a determination of whether Mr. Tillman here is guilty or not guilty. But if you remember, he said that you wouldn't know what the state has to prove until at the end of this whole procedure, at the end of the trial, when the judge gives you the law and the jury charge, which you just did. And you went over that with Judge Holmes, and you're about to get a copy of it for yourself. And you'll see that just about everything that we have needed to prove to you was actually given in the handy dandy checklist that Ms. Simmons gave you at the start of this whole process. Y'all have known all of what we need to be proved to you since before you even selected to be on this jury. So I say all that to reiterate, this isn't some snap decision that you need to be made, that you'll need to make based on the law that you were just given. You've been fully prepared with the checklist to know exactly what it is that y'all really need to prove to you. It is true that the judge does need to give you the law before you go and deliberate. There's no requirement that that be the first time y'all hear about the law. Now, I say all that, but there is one little additional law that we haven't covered yet in the checklist that Mr. Macy just covered, but I'll get to that in a second. I want to take a little time and go through that checklist again with y'all. Everything that we needed to prove in order for you to find guilty or not guilty. Now, the defendant, Mr. Tillman, there's been no contest that he was the man there that night. On or about September 16th, 2023, again, no contest that he was there that night. You heard that from just about every witness, including him himself. In Jefferson County, Texas, we know that the park is located in Jefferson County, Texas. He was arrested by a Beaumont Police Department officer located in Jefferson County, Texas. Did intentionally, meaning that it was his conscious objective. And as you saw in the video, he was very intentional with his actions that night. Prevent or obstruct, as we discussed before in board diary, prevent essentially means to stop, while obstruct means to impede or, impede or slow down. Officer Logan Ishii, a person the defendant knew to be a peace officer. Y'all saw that he showed up wearing his body camera, dressed in all of his officer attire. It wasn't no just random person walking up to him. He very clearly knew he was an officer. From effecting the arrest of the defendant. Now, I know you've seen this video multiple times now, but it's not a very long one. And I want to make sure we see it again, and I'll see it very clearly what happened.
Go ahead. Please. We're not doing this. I'm trying to get you off the first. They don't I put it down the time, and I wish I got you on the job anyway. I've never been a job. I try to talk to her, she didn't know how to talk. This is how I followed the procedures.
Are you saying you're yelling at me, or are you gonna leave like I'm telling you to before I get all over you guys?
You can't take my business all this too. That's
You need to leave.
that's wrong.
You need to leave.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
You need to leave the country.
No, because my rights is, and I have to wait.
Now you've heard him say, need you to leave this property, need you to leave this property, leave. He's been told that he needs to leave. The officer's been told by this point that security or the owner wants him gone from the property, yet he's refusing to do so. So at this point, about just as soon as I'm about to hit play, he's going to begin to effectuate the arrest for criminal trespass. Which again, is not why we're here today, but that's what the officer made the arrest for. Lays hands on, immediately to effectuuate the arrest for criminal trespass. And as you see, Mr. Tillman pulls away. Now he says he flinched, he reacted. That is his testimony, and maybe he did flinch and react in that moment. But as we're about to see. That seems like a lot more than a simple flinch, if you ask me. We see the officer has his arm and is attempting to pull it back. As you can see, the arm does move like this. And we see Tillman himself resisting that by pulling against the officer. Which Tillman said himself, he's only about 120 something pounds. He's a skinny man. And we see two officers, and you saw them, they're not big muscular men, but we at least have two men trying to pull his arms behind his back. And they are struggling to do so for the greater part of a minute. And I don't believe that is due to the weakness of the officers. I do believe that is due to the force that they are having to combat at that moment in time.
I didn't know you because that's the man chill. Yeah, buddy, bro. What the fuck, man, nigga? What y'all think your money's for? Y'all niggas ain't even talking to me, my nigga.
At this point, his arms are restrained behind his back, and he has been effectively arrested. Lights, please. Those actions by Tillman all amounted to force. Mr. Macy says that he didn't use force. Well, I'd argue if he wasn't using force, then why is there a self-defense argument in y'all's jury charge? How are you going to defend without any use of force? He either has to use force, and that force has to be justified under the law, or he didn't use force. And there was no self-defense to this because he wasn't using force in self-defense. And he also says, Mr. Macy also says that struggling isn't enough. But I want to reiterate something that we covered from the very beginning of this, that Texas courts have said that any force whatsoever is sufficient to count as resisting. That means struggling is resisting. If I'm pulling you in this direction and you dig your heels in the ground and lean against me, we would all understand that to be the use of force against the person who's pulling you in this direction. That's struggling, that's force. Now, I want to spend a little time and cover the self-defense argument that where just force would be justified to resist an arrest. The language of the statute itself says that before the actor, in this case, Mr. Tillman, offers any resistance, the peace officer uses or attempts to use greater force than necessary to make an arrest or search. Now, I would argue to you that the simple laying on of hands to detain an individual is the absolute minimum use of force that an officer could use to effectuate an arrest. You didn't see Tillman had his arms placed on him, complicit behind, start following the orders, or at least not resisting in any way. And then the officer takes out a baton and starts beating him to get him to get arrested, or takes out his taser and tase him. He did the most minimum thing possible, and that's to begin to restrain the individual to arrest him for criminal trespass. On top of that, regardless of whether the criminal trespass was legal arrest or illegal arrest, is irrelevant. As you've already heard, it doesn't matter whether the underlying arrest was lawful. And now I understand that y'all might think that's a little messed up, and I kind of agree, but there's a time and a place to handle that sort of thing. There's a court of law that can be handled. The time and the place is not in the streets. If we see an unlawful arrest come across our desk here, we dismiss that case. You get injured in an unlawful arrest, you can sue the city. You have redressability, but fighting it out in the streets is not the place to handle that. We've covered the many reasons for that. Protection of the officer, the protection of the person being arrested, and the protection of those in the community who may be nearby. Okay, before I continue on, there is also a second part of the self-defense justification. So not only does the person need to, not only before the actor offers any resistance, the officer needs to use greater force than necessary. They also need to believe that I'm just going to read it so I can stop this. Before the actor offers any resistance, the peace officer uses or attempts to use greater force than necessary to make the arrest or search. And when and to the degree the actor reasonably believes the force is immediately necessary to protect himself against the peace officer's use or attempted use of greater force than necessary. I would argue that Mr. Tillman says he thought they were acting excessively. If he reasonably believes, and his reasonableness in that belief is ultimately up to y'all to determine, that's his prerogative if he thought it was unnecessary. But the point being is the force has to be greater than necessary. And the force that all he was resisting, the force that as soon as the officer's hands laid upon him, he pulled back. He kept struggling with him. You saw his arms go up and push him away. All of that was to prevent the most minimum force necessary to effect an arrest. This officer was doing exactly what he thought he needed to do to effectuate an arrest. He was not going above and board to try and beat Tillman into submission. The arrest began at the moment the officer laid hands upon him, not when we get to the car, not at any point where he claims he was slammed against the car and doing all that. And by that point, he's already used force. And so the defense doesn't work at that. It has to be before he's used any force, the officer is acting above and beyond. And we never saw it. That was never in the record, and that's not in the video that you can go back there and watch for yourself. Sorry for my long breath. I'm still getting over a cold. I think it's important to look at the language of the law. The force must be used against the officer, not on the officer. As we talked about in Mordire, there are many similar offenses. If before the officer gets to you, you begin to run away from him, that's not resisting. We call that evading arrest. There's no use of force on the officer. If the officer is arresting you and you're complying with him, you've got your arms behind your back, but you're also saying, I'm going to kill you when I get out of this. That's not resisting. There's no use of force. That's merely making threats on a peace officer. The law recognizes different offenses here. And if the use of force had to simply be on the officer, you had to attack or be offensive in a manner, then there wouldn't be a reason to have assault of a peace officer be a separate offense than resisting. Resisting can happen when you're simply going against and preventing and obstructing what the officer is trying to get you to do during the arrest. You know, my father majored in physics in college. And I never liked math, so I went to law school. But joke's on you, they still teach you a little bit of math in law school. But I think this can all be very easily understood in simple physical terms without being a physicist. If the officer is pulling you this way, and you are pulling back that way, that's force against the officer. You don't have to be going towards the officer to be using force against the officer. By going in the opposite direction, by pulling away, you are going against this force right here, the force of the officer effectuating the arrest. What's that famous saying? You're either with me or you're against me. You can either come with me or you can resist and go against me. And by pulling away, you are using force against me. Thank you all for your attention. I feel fully confident that you are more than prepared to go back there and make the right decision with all you now know.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before you go into the jury room to deliberate, I must inform you that in a misdemeanor criminal case, there are 6 jurors. And if you notice, we have 7. And the reason why we have 7 is because one person in the group is an alternate. Now, the alternate does not go back into the jury room to deliberate. The alternate is available just in case something happens to one of the jurors, and then the alternate will go in. And so the alternate in this case is Maria Camacho. Okay, so at this time, what we're going to do, I'm going to, now Ms. Camacho, you can stay in the courtroom, or if you would like, you can have a seat out in the hallway while the jury deliberates. Yeah, yes. So at this time, I'm going to hand this charge to the bailiff, and she'll give this charge to you in the jury room. So at this time, everyone please stand as the jury goes into the jury room to deliberate. And and the court will be in recess until the jury returns with a verdict. Court is in recess. we go. Let the record reflect that the attorney for the state, attorney for the defendant are present in the courtroom. I have received a message from the jury that it has reached a verdict. Will the bailiff please bring the jury into the courtroom? That's right. We can't put that there. No, no.
You don't want the YouTube connected?
Yeah, I guess you can if you get. Let's put it. Hold on a minute. There we go. Let the record reflect that the attorney for the state, the attorney for the defendant, and all members of the jury are present and seated in the courtroom. Full person. Have you reached a verdict in this case?
Yeah, Your Honor.
All right. Is this verdict unanimous?
Yes, Your Honor.
That is one that is agreed upon by all the jurors. Okay. Would you please hand the verdict to the bailiff? Okay, Mr. Full Person. Is this verdict unanimous? Is a unanimous verdict by all the members of the jury?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, we would ask that Mr. Tillman, would you please stand? We, the jury, find the defendant as charged, find the defendant guilty as charged in the information of resisting arrest. Will anyone like the jury to be polled?
No.
Defense?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, at this time, we're asking that the jury, the six jurors, they're asking that to be polled. And then I'm gonna ask you if this is your verdict, okay? Let's see, starting off with Christy Stevens. Miss Christy Stevens, is this your verdict? All right. David Pruitt, Mr. Pruitt, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Okay. James Varner,
Yes.
is your verdict? Okay. Trevor Johnston, is that your verdict?
Yes.
Okay. Jeremy James, is that your verdict?
Yes, sir.
And Randy Moody, is that your verdict?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You may be seated. Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, on behalf of the citizens of Jefferson County, on behalf of staff here in County Court at Law Number 2, I'd like to thank you for taking time out for your busy schedules to be here these 2 days. I was paying attention to you, and I know you was paying attention to the evidence that was being presented. So on behalf of the citizens of Jefferson County, we'd like to thank you for taking time out from your busy schedule to come down here to court to make sure that justice was done. Now, your jury services are complete. You can take the badges off. The bailiff is going to take the badge. She's going to put them on the top of the counter. And yes, you could just pass it to her, pass it to them. Okay. She's going to put them on top of the counter and she's going to collect those badges. Now, again, as I mentioned to the jury panel that we had here on yesterday when we was picking the jury, I inform them like I will inform you as well. Anytime that you're in the area of county court at law number 2, you could come and have a seat in county court at law number 2, because as a citizen of Jefferson County, this is your courtroom. And you can feel free to come and have a seat in your courtroom and just see what goes on in Jefferson County. And I know that you learned a lot just from sitting and participating in this jury. And I tell people this all the time. Me personally, I'd rather watch a jury trial than television, because it's just so interesting with the things that happen in our community. Now, anytime you're in the area, as I mentioned to you earlier, you can come and have a seat in that area. We call it the peanut gallery, but as I told you earlier, you can't bring peanuts in here and eat, because this is not the Texas Roadhouse. But you can come and have a seat and see what goes on in your courtroom. Now, the bailiff, she's handing out some letters. Make sure that each person get one. If you'd like to drop us a line, please feel free to drop us a line and let us know about their experiences that you've had in this case. Now, I also mentioned that I usually give the jurors a handshake, but we still have COVID in our community. But at this time, I will give everybody what I call an air handshake. So each and every one of you, thank you for coming. Your services are concluded. If you need anything, if anybody need an excuse, you need an excuse like work or something, okay. Would you be able to do that today? Do we have a letter? Yeah, we could do that. Okay. One of our court coordinators, she'll be able to give you all excuses. So at this time, your services are complete. Thank you for taking time out from your busy schedules. You're free to go, and each and every one of you have a blessed day. You are. If you need an excuse, you can come over here.
It's locked over there, so, oh.
He's getting an excuse.
Bye.
See y'all later.
Here.
Okay. Okay, y'all excuse.
Thank you, Judge.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm done.
Y'all need to talk to him, y'all can.
No, they want to go.
Okay,
They want to-
all right. All right, now, no, that's right, I need to set,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to set a time to do if y'all haven't come up with an agreement, we can do a PS.
I don't believe we have an agreement.
We
have spoken to it.
okay. Okay, so we're gonna have to we reset the case for a punishment here. Okay. Yeah, because court will be doing the punishment. All right. That door is locked. Is it open?
No, it's locked. I'm sorry.
It's locked?
Well, can we something to say?
Yeah, sorry.
Mr. Mason, you want him to wait on you or what?
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this case will be reset for punishment hearing. What date are we looking at?
Yes, sir.
Probably
Is this good for the 1.5 thing?
on Monday. You want
Yesterday and today?
It have to be a hearing like.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It has to be within 30 days. Give us 30.
Right, we did it yesterday and today.
She could put 2 dates on it. Okay.
No, so it's still been like.
Yeah, he can, she's gonna reset, she's gonna redo it. You say November what?
That's 5 minutes, but that's,
Okay, that's
that's
fine.
fine with me. November 5th is when,
You said she can't do it in October?
or did you say 6th?
I mean, I put it on the 29th, but that's not.
Well, that's fine, October 29th. Yeah, we'll put it on October the 29th. Okay, this case will be reset for punishment here, October 29th at 9 AM. In County Court at Law number 2. Now, Mr. Tillman, you need a copy of your reset date?
Yeah.
Okay, just have a seat. Okay, this will conclude this hearing. In County Court at Law number 2, Judge Terrence L. Holmes.